Yes, good morning. This is the fourth part of excretory products and their elimination. Today we will cover about urine formation, RAS mechanism, ANF and disorders. Now first is urine formation. Mainly urine formation consists of three processes. First is glomerulus filtration, second is reabsorption and third is secretion. So these three processes will help for the formation of urine. Now first is glomerular filtration. This process take place in glomerulus part of nephron, and this is the first step or first part of urine formation. And on an average 1100 to 1200 milliliter of blood is filtered by kidney per minute. Means per minute approximate 1.1 to 1.2 liter of blood is filtered by kidney, and which is the 1/5 part of blood pumped by each ventricle. The glomerular capillary blood pressure causes filtration of blood by three layer. Means there is a definite pressure in glomerulus by which filtration take place, and the glomerulus and Bowman capsule has three layer structure mainly, that is endothelium of glomerular blood vessel, the epithelium of Bowman capsule and the basement membrane. Means there are three layer, that is endothelium, epithelium and basement membrane, which form the filtration layer. The epithelial cell of Bowman's capsule called as podocytes. The epithelial cells of Bowman capsule. The Bowman capsule contain epithelial cells, and these specialized cells are known as podocytes. And these podocytes are arranged in intricate manners. Interdigitate manner means they are interconnected, and they have some space, or you can say they have some spore by which filtration take place. Means this epithelial cells has some pore in it by which filtration take place, and these are known as filtration pore or slit pores. Blood is filtered so finely through these membranes that almost all the constituent of plasma except protein pass into the lumen of Bowman capsule. Means all the substances that are present in blood mainly filtered out inside the Bowman capsule, inside the cavity or space of Bowman capsule. Therefore it is considered as ultrafiltration, and the amount of filtrate formed by kidney per minute is called as glomerulus filtration rate, that is GFR. GFR in a healthy individual is approximately 125 milliliter per minute, and when we calculate in whole day, then it is near about 180 liter per day. Approximate 180 liter per day GFR, glomerulus filtration rate, exists. You can see here, this is the you can say diagrammatic representation or figure of urine formation. You can see easily here the arrows that are moving outside from the nephron. This is you can see reabsorption part, and the arrows which enter inside the yellow tube, they are secreted part. You can see here in PCT, proximal convoluted tubule, NaCl is reabsorbed, water is reabsorbed, nutrient potassium ion is reabsorbed, bicarbonate is reabsorbed. About 60 to 70% of filtrate is reabsorbed in PCT only. Means if let assume 100 liter filtrate is formed, so 70% of that means 70 liter is reabsorbed in PCT. This is a hypothetical situation. Then you can see in PCT, ammonia and hydrogen ions are secreted directly inside the PCT. When the filtrate moves in the descending part, H2O is reabsorbed by the blood, and in ascending part of limb of loop of Henle, NaCl is reabsorbed, and in DCT, distal convoluted tubule, NaCl, water, bicarbonate ions are reabsorbed, and potassium and hydrogen ions are secreted, and this filtrate will enter into the collecting duct. Here this filtrate is known as urine, and through collecting duct urine will enter into ureter and urinary bladder. So this is the diagrammatic representation of urine formation. Yes, this is the diagram from NCERT, and in this we will study about counter current mechanism. What is counter current mechanism? As we can see, the amount of or the direction of filtrate and the direction of blood is just opposite in limb of loop of Henle and vasa recta. You can see here vasa recta, and you can see here limb of loop of Henle. The direction of flow is just opposite. Through afferent arteriole, blood enter into the glomerulus, and through efferent arteriole, blood exit, and in glomerulus filtration take place. And useful substance, sometimes useful substance are also filtered out in PCT, loop of Henle, and you can see here in DCT also. So the useful substance is reabsorbed by PCT, loop of Henle, DCT, and directly pour into vasa recta. H2O is reabsorbed in PCT and loop of Henle. This H2O is directly poured into vasa recta, and through vasa recta this water will move into the main blood stream. And since you can see the blood and the filtrate movement is just opposite, that's why we describe this as a counter current mechanism. You can see here numbers are also mentioned: 300, 400, 600. This is the concentration of filtrate, and this concentration is expressed in milliosmol. As the water reabsorb, the concentration increases. Means you can see in PCT here 400 water reabsorb, 600 water reabsorb, 800 water reabsorb, 1000. And when NaCl is reabsorbed, then the concentration will decrease: 600, 400, 200, 300. You can see here. And this NaCl is entered inside the vasa recta in the parallel tube. You can see. So this is the counter current mechanism in which concentration of filtrate changes. As the water reabsorbs, the urine or the filtrate will be more concentrated or hypertonic. Now, what are the factors that regulate the kidney functioning? First is RAS mechanism, that is renin angiotensinogen aldosterone system. Kidney release a hormone known as renin. Renin convert angiotensinogen into angiotensin 1, and this angiotensin 1 will convert it into angiotensin 2, and this angiotensin is a powerful vasoconstrictor which constrict the you can say capillaries or diameter of arteries get decrease. And as the diameter get decreases, then the pressure will increases in nephron, so more effectively filtration will take place. You can see here this is mentioned with the dotted line. Angiotensinogen second increases the tubular NaCl plus Cl reabsorption, potassium excretion, and H2O retention. And aldosterone same works as that of angiotensin. Aldosterone also help in reabsorption of sodium and chloride ions, and aldosterone is released from adrenal cortex area of adrenal gland. And you can see in third point of angiotensin second, it is a vasoconstrictor which increases the blood pressure by decreasing the diameter of arteries. And you can see in the last fourth, the green one, posterior pituitary gland also release ADH, and this ADH will help in increasing the reabsorption of water. So ultimately these four factors will directly affect the absorption of water and salt inside the nephron. Next, this is a theoretical explanation of RAS mechanism, which is described in the previous slide. That juxtaglomerular apparatus play a complex regulatory role. If the blood flow or the blood pressure decrease in glomerulus area, that is the Bowman capsule area, then the JG cells present in glomerulus part, juxtaglomerular cells, release a hormone known as renin. Renin convert angiotensinogen into angiotensin 1 and further angiotensin 2. This angiotensin 2, I am reading the third point. This angiotensin 2 is a powerful vasoconstrictor which constrict or decrease the diameter and increases the glomerular blood pressure. Angiotensin 2 also activate the adrenal cortex to release aldosterone. This aldosterone will cause the reabsorption of sodium plus water from the distal part of tubule. This also lead to increase in blood pressure and GFR. This complex mechanism is generally known as renin-angiotensin mechanism. Now ADH, next hormone is ADH. ADH is antidiuretic hormone. The functioning of kidney is efficiently regulated by the hormonal feedback mechanism involving hypothalamus, JGA and certain extent with the help of heart. Osmoreceptors are present in the body, and these osmoreceptors check the blood body fluid volume and ionic concentration. An excessive loss of fluid from the body can activate these receptors. An excessive loss of fluid from the body can activate these receptors, which stimulate the hypothalamus to release ADH, that is antidiuretic hormone. Now what is the function of ADH? ADH facilitate the water reabsorption. Means ADH increases the water reabsorption from the tubular part, that is PCT, loop of Henle and DCT. And increase in body fluid volume can switch off the osmoreceptor and suppresses the ADH. When the fluid is sufficient inside the body, then the osmoreceptor switch off the ADH hormone. ADH can also affect the kidney function by its constrictory effect on blood vessels, and this causes an increase in the blood pressure. An increase in blood pressure can increase the glomerular blood flow, therefore increasing the GFR. Next is arterial natriuretic factor, ANF. Mainly this factor is related with the heart arterial portion. An increase in blood flow to the arteria or heart can cause the release of ANF. Means if the blood flow to arteria portion of heart increases, then the arteria part of heart will release a factor known as arterial natriuretic factor. ANF can cause vasodilation. Means it will dilate the blood vessels and thereby decreases the blood pressure. ANF mechanism therefore act as a check on renin-angiotensin mechanism. Therefore you can say ANF work just opposite to renin-angiotensin mechanism. Now these are the disorder related with the kidney. First is kidney stone known as renal caliculi. If the stone is formed within the kidney, then it is known as renal caliculi or renal stone. Second disorder is glomerulonephritis. Itis word is for inflammation. So when inflammation take place in the glomerular part, this is known as glomerulonephritis. So this is all about in today's lecture. Thank you.